Hey guys, I haven't done an intro in a while actually on YouTube, but just wanted to let you know the stuff that's been going on recently. So I have been playing Final Fantasy on the side. This is something I do really typically during WoW downtime. Famously, a lot of World First Raiders do, the World First race, and then you have a couple of days for farm, but then you do other stuff. A lot of us actually spend a lot of time playing other games. I have played Final Fantasy before, but very briefly. This time I got a group of people. I've tweeted about it. I can have a link to the tweet under in the description. But the idea is basically we're going to do the Final Fantasy content blind. We have no idea what we're doing. The video today will actually be a review of the first boss we did. But more importantly, we're not just learning the boss. It was an extreme trial, Titania, I think. And which is like kind of like a heroic boss in WoW, but we were learning the boss, what Final Fantasy mechanics even look like. We were learning our classes, we just so much intake at one time. We actually had a raid after this where our performance was just like just 300% better because we actually had time to figure out how to play the characters we were playing. Regardless, really fun. And this that I'm uploading here is actually a review with the current world first raid leader in Final Fantasy and kind of talking about the thought processes we had to figuring out this fight and how they did it, and just kind of his opinion on that. He's a great guy, Sfia. I can have a link to his stuff in the description as well. And if you guys want to tune in, it's really late. It starts about 12 Pacific time, but we're doing this 5 nights a week right now, Sunday through Thursday. It's a blast. Really, really fun to watch. It's been doing really well on Twitch, about a little bit over 10K viewers. So I'll be posting these reviews of the bosses with Sfia, going over what we did and why, and what they did and why, and talking about the differences between the two games. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And there should be, I don't know exactly how much content. I'm obviously still doing a lot of WoW stuff, but I'll probably have some Final Fantasy content going up on the YouTube channel as well. So hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks. Okay, so check this out. So
Cool.
so you can see my stream in Discord, right?
Yes.
Let me refresh and go to our kill. So what I want to do is kind of talk about each mechanic. You obviously saw how... did you listen to it unmuted, like what our thought process was?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right the way through. It was fantastic.
Yeah. So I want
Terrible, but fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to I feel like some of it... This one I feel like was going to be the hardest one because this was like our... I feel like you could probably see in the way we were playing our characters, it's so much better at the end than at the beginning, just because it was so foreign. And then also, we were getting used to, doing the thought processes in this game. And I think in a few ways, we thought of it like WoW, and that really hurt us. Specifically, the beginning of the intermission when we were tanking 2 of the Az together and single targeting them one at a time and trying to do a shirk taunt thing when you couldn't generate threat because it takes 0 damage situation, which was making it much harder. But let me get this. Let me go to our kill. And I want you to tell me a few things when we get to each mechanic. I want you to tell me what you guys did on progression. I want you to tell me what the regular community strat is that people use, and what your thought process was at the time. Let me go.
I can give you the rundown of how this experience went the first time.
Okay.
So these extreme trials, the one that you just beat and the one that you just went into and pulled once, they were released at the same time as the expansion launched, right? So they came out, and you, in one day, you level 70 to 80, and then you kill it at the end of the day after being up 20 hours. So you go through that process right at the end of a really long day.
Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah. So if you're racing for first primals, that's that's what you're going through. Kind of like a lot of you guys have been up all day as well, so you're kind of feeling what we feel. So
yeah, I'm tired as fuck. I'm insanely tired. Yeah.
But yeah, so you started off, and I mean, you picked up on this really quickly that it's a soak.
This specifically, yeah. So the thing I didn't realize at first, we got a little bit tricked. So how it works, obviously, is the purple goes around, and if you're in at the end, then that gives you the fire reduction debuff thing, right? So, but what I thought was you had to be in it the whole time. So we were a little bit tricked by how long these things actually lasted. And then there was a second thing that we actually learned by accident. And we learned this in the last phase, which is these water puddles also go away when you soak. I did not realize that in the first phase at all. We actually, 2 things happened that we got really lucky on. We randomly split our group in half, and whatever the logic is that picks the 2 soaks was naturally split up, and we never had doubles except for the one time someone went to the wrong spot.
So you never even figured that? We just assumed that you knew, and we just missed you communicating it.
No, we missed. No, we completely YOLO'd that. We just assigned 4 to be 4 and 4, and what we were going to do is have
if there was ever a double, to have one just run to the other group, right? And then if it was a 3 soak and a 3 and a 5 versus a 4 and a 4, we just used enough raid cooldowns to compensate it.
So what if that happened in the last phase when there's a big thorny vine going through the middle?
Well, by the time we got to the last phase, by the time we got to the last phase, we had already
Established that it was
what was the
consistent.
general
Correct.
plan you would do with this that we did wrong?
So what happens actually? The stack markers that the fists punch are always on healers.
Nagura was so
the
right.
allocation of where they are, you go left or right. Yeah. So were you saying that Nagura was right? That is a recurring theme throughout this progression, right?
Yeah, she was completely right on the healers and tanks being paired with DPS thing, which totally makes sense with it being 4-4. But like we tried that first pull and it was like, holy shit, that was so much easier. Nagura, did you get told by chat, or are you insanely smart? I hid chat the whole time.
I didn't look at chat, no, but it also gets timed out when they backseat. So.
Yeah.
But I just had an epiphany on a why.
I forgot to give mod to Final Fantasy people, so I just hid my chat because I didn't want to see any backseating. I had my chat hidden the entire time.
I didn't really look anyway, but most of them just get.
How was it, by the way? Was chat miserable or was it okay?
I mean, I really didn't look, but Sfia, I guess.
No, my chat. Right? Or did you watch Nagura's chat?
I was in a couple of them throughout the night. It was they went up and down with the general degeneracy that is MMO Twitch chats, but all in all, they were pretty decent.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's good.
As long as people understand we're just trying to have fun, that makes sense. If I just want all of the freaks banned. Like all the people who say wild ass shit, I actually want them banned from my channel forever. So if people know who they were or have names, just get them out. Okay, so this mechanic we did, and okay, so we talked about that. This kind of makes sense. It was hilarious the first time in the last phase where we went out to soak these early with the thing you had to be under the boss for. That was pretty fucking good. What was next? Yeah, I'm gonna skip ahead. The tank mechanic. Oh no, Bramble actually. So, yeah, this was the one we did correctly here. This was the one that Nagura figured out. So we kept going back and forth on whether it mattered to start the brambles closer to each other. And we ended up coming to the conclusion that that's very important because it's very hard to break if you start it pretty far apart. Is that correct?
That is correct. So the way that it works, this is an old recurring mechanic that's been around for years, is that from where you start relative to your chained partner, you need to move a fixed distance from that point further. So if you're starting right next to the wall, you can't actually break it. So if you have like a 10-yard distance starting between you and you need to increase that by 10 yards, you need to finish with a 20-yard distance between you. If you start with 1 yard, you only need to move to 10 yards distance between you.
Okay.
So it's way better for uptime.
Oh,
and
so you at least want
actual
to stack
space.
under the boss everyone then.
Yes. Which makes it really, really easy as well when you then know those allocations of them, which Nagura figured out, that you can then just by default send healers tanks and healers one direction and DPS the other.
Very smart. Cool. And then we had the front.
Yeah, so you should at least have that stack under the boss and then always move to like blue and red.
Yeah, there's nothing more complicated. There's nothing more complicated about this than a tank frontal, right? It's just literally a tank frontal.
No, that's all it is.
Okay.
Typically, that's like type of mechanic there is made to punish people out of position for breaking chains really messily.
Okay, so this is broken. I'm just gonna Phantom Rune. So this is one of those where you can see which one it's gonna be by the animation at the beginning of the cast, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so like this little circle around here knows it's in before you actually see the big reticle.
Yeah.
But you can like
They're pretty obvious once you know what you're looking for.
What's the animation? Like,
Oh, you can
so back
see
up
the
here.
hole to stand
I'll slow it down. Oh, I griefed you with my. Oh, it was the previous pull where I griefed you with my D&D. I know what you're talking about.
No. Like when you pop this one, like so we see here now, and then you pop you see what you pop. I think.
Oh yeah,
that.
yeah. That's my thing right here. This.
Yeah.
I pop it and you can't see anything under the boss. Look at that. Look at my fucking thing. It's this button right here when it comes off cooldown. The 5 seconds, 4 seconds. I fucking press it right as soon as you need to see the thing. Look. Wait a second. It gets to the middle, so I know she won't move.
Here it comes. Dude.
Here it comes right now. Okay, but do you see this yellow outline right here? You can see it before the thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so after this, I'll make it go higher or faster. Okay, so this is
before we get to. How was our DPS, by the way? Was it bad or was it okay?
I mean, it improved throughout the night, right?
Yeah, I was about to say our
That's
damage
absolutely
skyrocketed
expected.
because I know for a fact none of us had any fucking clue how to play these characters when we zoned in here, at least compared to when we left.
by the end of the night, it seemed like you're pressing buttons a lot better, and that's only going to get better and better.
Like
as you
for
get more
me
comfortable.
too, there was a couple of pulls where I was literally just mouse over Blackest Night on cooldown on now, and it was never breaking. Like that's like the right thing to do to keep him alive. And then like on near the later pulls, I just said fuck that, and I actually just blasted the boss with Edge of Night the entire time, or Edge of Shadow.
Someone said like raise staff equals get in and spread wings get out. Is that like a common thing for like a lot of bosses that like? If you don't know
They
what's
will
gonna
have
happen, is...
individual animations, yeah. So that one there, the
Okay.
tells are either the circle underneath to show it, and there's also like what she physically does as well with her, boss model.
Okay.
Hey, how is healer DPS? Because I know that's more of a thing in Final Fantasy than in WoW. Does that matter as much in a raid?
Progression healer DPS is always going to look kind of scuffed, and also like when you've just hit level 80 today, I think the expectations should be pretty low. So if people are expecting much of you, especially yourselves, don't worry about it. But healers can be doing just under tank damage in progression typically, and sometimes just above tank damage in optimization. So that's kind of the point you should be aiming for. Astro is going to do a little less, Skull is going to do a little less than them, but overall their contribution is going to be pretty high. So that's definitely something you can improve. But that's just knowing and learning the game and the way that damage functions and things like that. So just you'll learn it over time.
All right, so forward we have this is like the only way to do this strat. Is this strat the way that this is normally done? You just like one at a time?
Do you want to know the pug strat? I can tell you the pug strat, but
Sure,
it
yeah.
may take some of the fun out of it. For you.
Does our
Oh, no,
like
it's on
thought
cheese.
does our thought process make sense for this? Oh, dude, I bet they go
Yeah, yeah.
directly under the boss.
No,
No,
so
I know
so
what they're
happens-
doing. They have the 2 tanks that pop the immunity.
Yeah, one tank. You have 2 people take the first one, and then the Dark Knight is living dead, so 3 in a row.
Okay,
Dude,
fuck
I
yeah.
knew it, shut up.
Okay, dude, dude, we should start thinking like that. Like we literally get to a boss and we're just like, fuck that mechanic, because I
Yeah,
didn't
'cause
live
it's
it.
like never
I,
used
yeah,
that,
I
like,
never,
unit
I
is-
did not Living Dead the entire fucking. Yeah, I didn't do it the entire time. Like we should cheese the fuck out of these fights with that. I think. We did the fight. We did it the real way though. I guess so. I mean, we figured it out.
Yeah,
The thing is,
what
it's
most
like
people did in progression, right? You don't want to throw. This is probably. I won't say that.
yeah, dude. I was about to say.
Because
Also,
it's
you can
for the easiest
100% solo tank this fight. By the way, like money back guarantee. You can. It'd be so easy. I feel like I did almost nothing. I literally just mouse over.
Yeah, it was only like the double.
I like
with
I
the
mouse.
double control.
You could definitely like do that.
Yeah, if I popped everything there, I could have done that.
You can solo the strat for you can solo this boss for sure.
Well, how would you do the? Are there DPS-less taunts in this game?
Am I correct, Sfia? You can solo tank this boss?
The ads would probably be a disaster. I mean, you could probably make it work, but it wouldn't be very efficient because you'd be having a DPS just getting slapped in the face.
No, you're
by
probably
one of
right.
The ads in ad phase. So.
Yeah. Okay. So our damage difference at the end like really changed because like the boss to 60%, you guys were like very close, right? But cams just never fell off, and then the people probably died and shit. Makes sense. So we did this. So if you guys are paying attention to what he said, so we take what the pug strat is you do the first 2 normally. So it would be like 1 DPS and then Nagura, and then I would take it and I would just take the next 3 with Living Dead. So I would eat the first one and then I would Living Dead before the second one, I assume. And then
Yeah, you eat the first one, then you pop Living Dead, and the second one kills you, procs your Living Dead, and then the third one
doesn't kill you because you're in Living Dead.
doesn't kill you because you're involved, and then you get topped.
Then you
So
get
you're
tops.
fine.
Yeah, yeah. Is Living Dead a little scarier without a white mage, by the way? Without the big kill?
So especially in situations like this, not so bad when it's like sequential damage over time. But if there's ever like, because the way that it functions, and it's not really too clear about this, isn't that you need to be healed to full, is that you need to be healed for the total of your HP over the time.
Okay.
So that can be done incrementally.
Okay. So the growth rune, we basically just came to the conclusion that this, I feel like we did this right? You just see the 2 corners with the roots going in the middle, and you just split your group up like you did before, and you just go to opposite side. The only thing we didn't do is stack under the boss before these came out, so it was easier to break them.
Yeah, you spent a long time on this, and that was only because like you didn't understand the role allocations.
Yeah.
Like, the mess that was all here was because of that.
Because it's very different from WoW. Because in WoW it usually works like it doesn't matter like it's not from the like where you stack. It has like by the time it's on you, it just needs to be 20 yards apart from each other and it breaks. So you can like WoW with this mechanic, you can have like pre-spread and we just have insta broken.
Oh, just
Usually.
needs to snap them. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see. Oh, okay. This mechanic.
Yeah, go ahead. So
So
what we
you
were
guys-
doing,
like,
was
yeah.
we noticed where it went in the middle, and then we went right next or right counterclockwise of the second one that spawned, so we had the most time to move into the middle after the middle one went off.
So that is absolutely correct. That is the intended
You
way
can
to
stand
resolve
under
this
it as
mechanic.
the user
I can guarantee you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guarantee you. Everyone just stands under the boss and doesn't give a fuck and uses the cooldown. Is that what they do?
Correct.
Okay,
That is
we
absolutely
we
what
were
happens.
we were
It's one
trying
bomb stack.
we were trying to be too mechanic centric. Like we should actually just fucking not give a fuck.
No, but I think it's good because
Yeah.
like, then we learn, you know. And we should probably have to come to the conclusion that like.
No, you're actually
okay,
right.
We know how
No,
to do it, but like.
I completely agree
we
with
can
you.
probably choose it.
It's way better to learn the game this early with us having no idea what it's happening to do stuff like that way probably.
Especially when you don't know what's coming in the future, like right that Vuln stack you get from being in there could make something unhealable in any other situation, like in a more difficult fight. So you're approaching it the right way there. Yo, you guys got like 7, 8 of your first pulls in a row, all the exact same pattern of the Phantom runes, whether they were in or outs. We were just waiting for the switch.
Wait, they were.
Oh, they can be they're random.
Yeah.
Wha-
We always had the same.
Hold up.
What the first one was.
Hold
always
up,
one way
hold
every
up.
single time.
There's variants.
Okay, which ones are there? Is it the one in the last phase? That's the one you're talking
pretty
about.
sure it's
There's no.
the one in the
There's
first phase.
There's no
There-
fucking shot. There's one in the first phase, and we got that lucky because we never had any variants. Never. They were always the same.
Yeah, each one after the second is random.
So each one after the intermission phase.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we did.
Yeah,
they,
yeah, yeah.
What?
They were always the same. We never got a different one. That's actually fucking hilarious. That's
When you
fucking
got
great.
50-50s and few pulls, it
That's
can
fucking-
happen like that.
Yeah. Okay, so this phase, what we started doing, which was a total fucking World of Warcraft thing. There's 3 mobs. They can't be stacked together or they take 0 damage. And we wanted to burn one at a time. So our initial thinking was 2 tanks, one tank tanks the 2 boys, and then I go tank Mustard Boy, right? I realized about like 4 pulls into Mustard, he's not doing anything to me. So I'm like, I might as well just go tank that other guy, since this phase is just about overall damage, kind of. Well, not necessarily. In this phase, you technically do skip, in quotes, mechanics by killing them early, where in the next phase, they consistently happen. But this phase is like kind of really easy. This part's really easy. But
Does it matter which one you nuked here, by the way, Sfia? Would you have nuked like a different one?
yeah.
Okay, so the Peace Blossom, sorry, Mustard Seed. Mustard Seed, the one that you were nuking,
Yeah.
has an actual enrage on it, right? Where if it's not dead, it kills everyone.
Oh,
that's in
we
both
found
the
that
first
out
and
once
second
by
parts.
accident because we had a bunch of
Yeah.
people dead. Yeah.
Yeah, that just murders you. But I can tell you something that I found really, well, it made sense watching it, but for you, it would be very strange with the way that you have your UI and the way that you guys used to playing. I noticed that a lot of WoW players actually have their floating text numbers turned off. And this phase would have made a lot more sense to you if you had combat text showing, because you would have noticed that you were not being auto-attacked tanking Mustard Seed.
Oh my God, you're right. That's such a good point. Okay, I can do that.
Now, yeah, there are
That's
things
a good idea.
like you can look that up in ACT, but knowing to go back and look for that specifically isn't something that you would intuitively think of. So just seeing the fact that, oh, I'm not actually taking damage here is pretty important, and I think would have saved a lot of time on this phase.
Okay. All right, so we get through this phase. I don't think there's anything to talk about here. Nothing going on. Other than what's the pug strat to burn these? Is it Peace Blossom second?
People just YOLO, like it's kill Mustard Seed and then kill
And then
whatever.
the other 2 whenever. Cool.
Yeah.
Now, I've noted you could technically... I think the game might be designed for you to do a taunt swap on Peace Blossom and Puck, because Puck has a debuff and the other one doesn't. So, like, if that phase did take long enough, it might be like something you... At least in WoW, it would be like that, where the tanks, when you killed the other guy, after you get 1 stack, you would each taunt each other's mob.
Yeah.
Right?
That could be a thing, but
It's
because
not
this
necessary,
is like
right? But
yeah, it's an introductory
because-
trial. It's not tuned to the point where that thing is going to be lethal. You know, you'll always be able to live that.
Yep.
It also doesn't make it like because you need to like if you want to taunt somebody to drag them through each other, then you can't damage. But I guess it could be a thing you need to do. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, fuck yeah.
This is where I was the most confused in this part.
Yeah, this
I
phase.
didn't
Yeah.
know what I needed
So
to do.
do any of these need to be tanked? And if they do, is it only if other people are in range of them?
Oh, you still didn't. Okay. Well, the west and north ones need to be tanked. There's the one that doesn't attack and doesn't auto attack in the first part of Ad's phase, doesn't auto attack in the second part of Ad's phase.
Yeah, we knew that. We figured that out at
Yeah.
the end. I'm just saying, like, there were multiple pulls where Now and I did not tank north or west, and we just burned east with the whole group, and I didn't think anything was happening. Like, no one was...
Yeah. People were getting slapped and dying.
Oh, okay. Well, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that
was
was-
like there are auto attacks that go off at the same time as like a stack marker, and one person will just die, and you'll assume that it's because of misplaced
Okay.
mispositioning. Or
Yeah,
something,
I
but
just
it's
assumed it was
them getting
mispositioning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So those so our initial inclination was actually right of which ones we would tank, and then we tried to like, because like in WoW, if you don't tank something that's supposed to be tanked, it like fucks you up, and we didn't know that was happening. Partially because I think I can probably speak for all of us in that looking at these raid frames is very, very fucking foreign. Like it's very hard to like.
I hate the raid.
I
frames.
hate them so much. I am actually lost to what the raid's health is until I get used to this because it is just so different. Like, if you could only imagine how much better, like it would be to just have a simple something that makes the raid frames just like a little grid of 4x4 boxes with people's health. It would look and functionally be insanely better. But,
Oh, in WoW, is it a thing? Because I remember when I played Classic, this was a thing. If you're tanking an ad or a mob, and you move out of range of it, will it just default to attacking something next to it?
Yeah, in melee. And if
In-
you have
in-
no one in melee, it just casts
it-
some weird shit. And
yeah, if there's no one in melee, it
Okay.
usually casts like raid wipe, raid AoE damage shit.
That is not a typical Final Fantasy thing. So those two big boys that you were tanking just then on west and north would just be auto attacking you across the room.
Okay, that makes sense. Oh, so wait, hold up. Could
Hold
we
on,
have?
we
Could,
guys
could
had,
well,
like,
hold up,
insane
hold up. Could we have gotten threat on them and then left and done other shit, and no one would have gotten
Yep.
meleeed?
Correct.
That's very different than WoW. That's insanely different. Okay, so that is so fucking different, man. Okay, yeah, I would have to. Okay, very cool. So do we literally could have gone over there and just like blast that thing for 5 seconds, and then just like been with the raid the entire fucking time?
Exactly. You could have been in the stack. You could have done
Yep.
all that fun stuff.
Yeah, because I was standing there all by myself doing nothing. I was like feeling so useless. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense then.
Cool. Okay, so we got through this. I'm assuming our strat was correct for the, or at least functionally correct. Maybe not pug strat, but like right here.
Oh,
Where
yeah,
it-
this is exactly what people do.
Oh.
You just get knocked back to corner, and then you need to kind of like hang there for a second because these tethers are a bit annoying in this section. Where sometimes they
Dude, I
won't
thought that
break
was
if
so
you.
smart here.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, dude, no matter how smart of anything we figure out, people will figure this stuff's been out forever. Not to mention that when
Yeah, yeah.
people came into the, more importantly, when other people did this fight for the first time, they have, potentially years of Final Fantasy raiding experience to where a lot of things are not like, how we see a new raid fight in WoW and you see a mechanic and you don't even think about it, but there's like 10 mechanics you've done that are very similar, and you do something similar without even cognitively like thinking about it. You just do it because you're used to it. That's what this content is for them. So there's going to be those huge differences. When
No,
it
but I
starts.
remember Sfia telling me that like this arm's length is like something. It's for very like specific mechanics in the raid. And then when I like saw the knockback, I'm like, oh, that's the
Okay,
one, dude. That's the
me
one we
too.
use it
Okay,
in.
first of all, arm's
You-
length
you-
should
you-
work on that, right?
Yeah, I
You're
feel
right,
like
it
it
absolutely
should.
should. There are just some exceptions that are just arbitrarily it doesn't work on. The fact that you thought of it in the first place is a really good sign. The
Yeah.
fact that it didn't work was unfortunate, but
So-
it's
So
it's a
I
good
bet
that you're
you were
thinking that way.
you were sitting at your computer and you were like, "Oh, that's a good thought process for them to have." But this next pull is gonna be fucking hilarious because they're gonna go flying off the edge. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Okay, cool. And then this, so this is the beginning of the next phase. So
Yeah,
you're
before
saying
that, though-
this one is random. This phantom room right here, it can be both.
Yeah.
We got so
before
fucking
this,
lucky.
though,
We would have miserably wiped if it
Before
would have
this,
went
though,
inside.
the limit break call. It doesn't actually tell you in game, but I'll tell you right now that a melee limit break does single target 9,000 potency. A physical ranged LB does a line, really large fat line AoE, which does 5,500 potency to every mob hit. So at 2 targets, it's better than a melee.
Okay.
And caster is the same potency, but a big circle AoE. So depending on the type of mobs you're hitting, where they're spread out, things like that, you just pick the one based on that.
Okay. Cool.
But then we made the right choice here, right? Because we called
I
melee.
the only other
limited.
choice would have been to use a caster or ranged line to potentially hit 2 of the wall bosses to do the other phase faster. But I think
Yes.
functionally, the healer mass res was better for progression. I think
Absolutely.
for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need the damage in that check. Like,
But
I can. There,
if you
there was,
use-
I think, one pull where a caster LB may have saved it, but that's it.
if you use LB1, does it like, can you, it goes away, right? You need to wait for 3.
Well, you can
can't
use
just,
what.
like-
So basically, how the game works is you can use LB 1s and 2s, and they have like lower versions of the spell. But 3 is you're. Okay, I don't know if this is what you actually do, but you're obviously incentivized to use 3 because it comes with extra benefits, right? Like for example, I can't imagine a fucking universe where you would ever use a healer limit break 2 or 1. That sounds dog shit. It's just a heal, right? Like that's fucking bad.
No, but like, do
Correct.
damage dealers get more damage under limit break? Because it only says it
Yeah,
increases the range.
So going from an LB1 to an LB2 does more than double the damage. So just throwing out 2 LB1s is not the same as doing a single LB2.
So you're always incentivized to do it longer if you can. And sometimes you have to rip one to be safe. Like I can tell you right now, we're going to be on a boss and we're about to be low and all of our cooldowns are down. And I'm going to rip a tank limit break at LB2 to like live something, probably. Because I'm scared. Okay, so this is inside. We got super fucking lucky because we didn't know this could be random because we 50-50'd, I believe, 5 times for this to be in, which is extremely rare. And then we go out and soak. I don't know why it never occurred to me, but I should have expected that was variable because it would have not really changed the mechanic and you could have easily done both. It's basically the people on the outside are technically, in quotes, fucked if you have to be inside. And the people under the boss, if you have to run out, are the people being obstructed. So if you just think about fight design like that, it would make it total sense for it to be random.
Yeah, I mean, technically you got the harder one in terms of the amount of distance needed to be traveled after the mechanic resolves to get to the puddles, but
I think it's harder in distance travel, but I think it's easier to have it under the boss because there's less overall movement of not moving back out and not total movement,
I was
but
gonna
like
ask, by the way,
lethal movement is kind of. But what's up?
is there
now?
like parries and stuff in this game? Do I need to like face the boss away from the melee? Does it matter if
Well,
you're
okay,
in front or
you
behind?
need to face it away from the melee because they have positionals, but I don't think they get parried. Is that correct?
no, there's no parry mechanic, so you'll always do full damage. But the ninja has rare positionals, and it's kind of and
I
a
have-
flank
So
position.
like our melee,
Yeah.
do you? What do we? I don't even know what we play. Do we play ninja? What do we play?
Yeah, I'm ninja. I need like
Okay.
2 of my spells do more damage from behind, like if I'm behind the target, and 1 does more from the flank, like the side.
Oh, okay.
The side one is like on me to do. I mean, technically, but I guess all of them are. But obviously, if like the boss is like spinning around, it's harder. But
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so going on from here,
I have like a million other things to focus on before I worry too much about positionals myself.
yeah. Okay, so this stuff, people are going out. We didn't have to shift. So my strat here was we are opposite of each other. And if we get the pink things behind or in front of us, we shift left.
That is the pug strat, correct? Yep.
Cool. Makes sense. We should get better at this too. Do you guys see this mechanic right here? This reduction? I was doing this too. I just didn't have Dark Missionary up here. When you're using these mechanics, you have to go under the boss to hit both groups if it's on you. Like this needed to be like 5 yards in front to hit both sides. That blue bubble.
If you go back a little bit as well, there's something important to see with this. So if you keep going forward and you see the when the attack snapshot,
The what?
Sorry, hold. It's right here, right?
yeah. So there's no Casper on these ones. The timing of the debuffs applied are very unclear as to like. So you know how ability snapshot on this game, right? Where it's the end of a cast bar, and then as long as everything's done before that point, the mitigations will apply.
Correct.
For things that don't have an indicator like that, you have to typically put them very early to make sure that they apply. So you're possibly missing some of that mit on those initial hits. That's just the way that the combat works in this game thing, not necessarily a thing specific to this fight.
And
I
then
feel
we
like this fight was hard. I don't know, man. This was not easy. Maybe we're just like so new to Final Fantasy, but like for
Yeah,
the
that's
first like
exactly
warm
what
up
it is.
raid, dude, it was pretty hard.
I think I mean, yeah, I mean, we're either fucking dog shit or we're just new to Final Fantasy. That's literally two options.
Well,
yeah,
I'll put
we'll
it
figure
this
that
way.
out soon.
You guys spent longer on learning Final Fantasy basics than you did learning the fight mechanics,
Oh, well, then that kind
which
of
is to be expected.
that kind of answers it itself, right? I think anytime you're learning characters and the mechanics, that's so much different than having the characters baseline. Like, I can tell you right now, if we would have entered this boss being as good at our characters as we are now at the beginning of the night, we would have killed this in like an hour and a half, I think, or less.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, so I think most of it was just learning the game. But yeah. So this part, we just kind of... we knew this was coming up, so I saw her voice line. So I noticed earlier that the "this may tingle a bit" was the sign that she was going to do the like lightning thing. So here, guys, I tried to say everyone get behind the boss because I saw it, and everyone was there, and we were cool. And I tried to like go behind and get the arrow. I don't want to know what actually happened. I saw it, and so I'm like, here, I'm going to get it. Everyone's behind the boss, and we're fucking great.
It started on now, I think.
Oh.
No, I didn't have. Did it?
No, I think
Or
it
maybe
started
you
on
moved away
me.
early.
Well, the boss
Oh,
went
she moved to the
middle.
center. That's
The
why.
boss went
She
center.
result.
But then obviously, like, now is here, right? So the entire raid should have gone where my mouse is.
Yeah.
That's I mean, that's what I was trying to communicate to you
Yeah.
all. And then like I said, get behind the boss right now. And I'm behind the boss trying to soak this, and just no one is behind the boss. I'm so confused. Like, everyone was in front, and like, you guys were on now, which was
So
like
the rear of the boss is what everyone calls behind the boss, which is where that open section in her hitbox is, which is where rear positionals
I mean,
are. So
we
it's
were
like-
even fine right here, but then J-Funk jumped into my AoE. And then... Okay.
How did you die here? Did you get?
I
this
think
thing?
I must have had a debuff already. I got hit by... Oh, I got hit by that? What? Hold up.
So the snapshot is
Snapshotted.
what matters here.
Yeah. Oh, so you're right under the
It
boss.
was the same for me because I was so confused. I thought I had like my ping, and I was like,
yeah,
this
dude.
animation
Oh
is
no.
bigger than
All it
looks,
is
but
this.
it's
All it
just
is this.
it's
Like
snap.
look at the person with it. It's hard to see. Right here. Do you see them right there? Do you see my mouse? Do you see like that little red circle? That's that person. Now let me play it in slow-mo. It's snapshots right now. And then we're already in it. So even though this is clearly out, I get a Vuln stack and you get a Vuln stack. Not a Vuln
I
stack.
didn't get, I think.
Oh, but
or did I get? No, I don't think. Did I?
So cams, this huge dragon, that's yours, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
that thing
yeah, I
sucks.
put in link show how to
hate
fix
I think
that
you can
thing.
make it smaller.
Yeah, you can make it smaller.
Wait, hold up.
Someone
How?
in chat told me.
So,
There's
hold
a
up.
command for it.
Sorry.
It's not a system
you just-
configuration. It's a chat command.
No, it's like the eggy glamours.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, because
Wait,
that.
How do I do it?
/Bahamut size space small.
All right,
It
I
shows
said
you
it.
everyone's
Oh, okay.
Bahamut
Dude,
and how
yo,
that size.
yo,
Yeah.
that ad scared the shit out of me. Like 2 times during the fight, I was like, "There's a new mechanic," and that thing is just like charging at our group. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty
Well, there it
crazy.
is.
Like when I summon that phoenix, my screen just explodes.
Okay, so we do this one right, and then we Phantom Rune again. This is random, so just totally. But this one doesn't matter if it was random or not, because this is the first time we ever saw this one, and I was reacting to what I saw.
We're
Not.
gonna do people outside. No.
The boss was that.
Yeah.
I was committing.
True.
True. Yeah, that was fun. So I think
So
what we
is this
should.
a good kill time? Ish.
No way. There's no
It's
fucking
really
way.
It's
long.
really hard to say.
Dude, we
Yeah.
we lost a DPS
Oh, yeah,
going
true.
into the
Yeah,
last.
true.
We
we were behind on this pull. I remember.
we were super behind. We had been phasing the boss at like 34, 33%, and we phased at 39% because we lost someone right before the thing, and then look how
Wasn't this a
bad.
Ninja pull too.
Yeah, it was. I think.
Yeah,
it
this
was.
this was a ninja pull, and also we had a bunch of people die in the last phase too, because we were
Yeah.
just yellowing it. So yeah, this is a terrible kill time probably.
Yeah, this one, the numbers aren't the important thing that you're taking away from this, in terms of your DPS output specifically. You're a little bit overgeared, but it's more just the amount of things that you learn from this is far more important than looking at a kill time or anything like that.
Oh yeah, this is really fun. So we'll be doing this
How
again.
does-
What's up?
I'm sort of like regarding healing. If a healer wants to heal me, is it like, do they just heal me, or do they have like ramp up and stuff? I actually don't know how it works because sometimes it just feels so weird, and sometimes I just get
Just the
insta.
Here-
cast
here's
for
here's
so
how
long.
here's how I
The
think
cast
healing
is
works.
crazy.
I think like I think like healers like mainly damage doers, and like when they actually decide to heal you, they just like fucking heal you instantly. It's just like their heals are, they're not always.
So you
healing.
have like mainly like single target healing, and you like rotate between.
Yeah, there's like well, at least a scholar. There's like a couple AoE heals, a couple single target, and they're all on cooldowns. And then usually like mid global on something, and then sell them to cast a spell onto you.
Okay.
You know, that's like 4 seconds, with just how slow everything is.
Fuck yeah. Okay. And then we kill this guy. How is there like an enrage on this fight?
There is, but I think it's still a couple mechanic sets away.
Okay, so that was a bad pull, and we were a couple mechanic sets away. Oh yeah, because it probably should have done the roots again with the vines.
I think it does the ice again as well.
Yeah.
After that, it's been a really long time since I've done this fight.
Yeah.
We're also 20 item levels too high, I think. This is 430,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 430 is minimum eye level. Most people would have gone in and done it about 440 with all the Ronkin gear, but what you guys have is like 10 eye levels and some melds over. So it's not like you're doing it in current gear, which is like 100 eye levels over, but you still did have a little bit of a gear advantage on it.
I mean, I don't think it matters. I think the
I
entire
don't feel like
the
we could've done this
entire
with 400 item level as well, because it was like
yeah
either like
the
it's not like we
entire
died.
difficulty of this, almost the entire difficulty of this fight was us learning Final Fantasy. That was
Yeah, exactly. We never died because we like didn't have enough HP. We died because we just fucked up and got one shot. You know, the gear didn't really matter why we died. We just fucked up.
Less gear would have just made the ad check probably harder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but like every time we did the ad thing with everyone alive, we pushed at like 70 to 80 energy. We were
Yeah,
miles ahead.
I mean, if we knew that, we could have just ran.
and we could have
just got
limit break in
aggro
that phase
on-
as well. I don't think the extra gear mattered
Yeah.
even a little bit. I'm actually pretty sure even on that pull with lower eye level, we would have been fine. Like we were, like you said, we were like multiple mechanic sets ahead of the enrage, and we had a dog shit pull. So
Yeah, particularly extreme trials, they don't tend to have strict enrages unless you're like going below minimum item level, which you can do. So you shouldn't expect to run into too much trouble there. They're mostly just don't die a lot checks.
yeah, tomorrow. So tomorrow, you think we do the other extreme trial?
Yeah, I think Crown of the Immaculate's going to be a really good one as well. It'll teach you a lot of stuff. It'll test you in a lot of ways that fight didn't, while also not
That
being
fight
super difficult.
felt a lot easier. I don't know if we just got a lot better, but like the mechanics were like not as complicated. They were like very like just on standing ground.
It's
you know?
probably that was more related to WoW mechanics, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I wouldn't have a point of comparison to make there, but I think that this fight coming up will teach you some more stuff. But more importantly, it's more of a personal responsibility fight, so you'll be more held accountable for that sort of stuff there. But you'll have fun. And I think after that, you guys should be good for normal modes. So the normal modes are going to be easier than these fights that you've done, the two extremes.
Okay.
Oh really?
Yeah, they're like story mode content, right? Like slightly harder
Okay.
than the story mode stuff you would have done. They're like their LFR difficulty essentially, and then the savages are just significantly harder than that. The first savage you do will be quite a bit harder than Titania was, and then it just ramps up in difficulty from there.
Dude, I felt like that fight was pretty hard.
Yeah.
But I think like if
It's-
we go back to this fight that we just did now in like
I-
2 weeks, when
I
it's gonna be
guarantee
so
you,
fucking easy, I
dude.
think.
Yeah, yeah, dude. I was about to say, I guarantee you. Yeah, I really think it would be even that much different. Like, obviously, we're gonna learn so much more by doing more of these fights, but like, even the simple thing of starting tonight with the experience we have in our characters right now, and seeing all those
Yeah.
mechanics for the first time, I think it
died
would have been
3 times because I
so
was
much
looking at my
better.
action bar. It was like I just got confused and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't run in. And I died.
Yeah. So the player skill
Good
thing is
openers.
just going to increase.
Yeah, and I have to say something. Moving bosses in this game is really cringe. Because like in WoW, for example, you don't need to like face. Like whenever you use an ability, your character faces the boss when you press the ability.
Yeah, so you
it
like
makes
go back to
moving
them.
super
Yeah.
awkward. Yeah. So like if you need to drag, you literally can't do anything. I feel like.
Yeah, bosses also can get themselves stuck in animation very often. So even like an auto attack.
Did you have
they'll get
fun? Yeah,
themselves
a ton
stuck
of
and then
fun.
they'll do a big slide after that. It can be pretty annoying. But there's tech to
I mean,
it.
you could probably tell I had a
The
ton of
moving
fun,
bosses
right? That was fucking
consistently, so
awesome.
hopefully you guys
That
can
was like
figure that out.
really, really fun. I feel like we're gonna have a system now. Like we're gonna see a boss and like pull one. If we like that boss we just did, I feel like we would have seen a couple minutes in, watch a video of it together, look at, identify what thing is picking which people. So like for example, on that last boss we just did the one pull.
Yeah.
That like circle thing picked a caster and a healer. Like I want to see next time if it goes caster healer. So if you can identify a, I'm sure plenty of things in this game are purely random, like spread out mechanics most likely, but like just a lot of intricate fight mechanics probably can be figured out by that. And then I think now and a few pulls into every boss need to approach every mechanic like that one that was there and be like, can we never have to learn this by tanks just using invulns? That sounds really, really fun to do. Well, not fun.
Gotta
That's
start thinking like Final Fantasy players.
Yep.
Except red mages.
Phaelite, the tank mechanic. We ended up.
Oh yeah. So
We ended up.
What was your take on that?
So when we first saw it, it looked lightning-ish to me, and I still had a lightning vulnerability from doing the previous mechanic, so I didn't want to soak it with him, because I thought I was getting one shot because of that, I guess. And then someone pointed out, I think it was Nagura pointed out, or someone pointed out that we were linked.
That was me, I think.
It was you.
I don't
Yeah,
know. It's
someone.
a long night, bro.
Yeah, someone pointed out that we were linked, and then we were like, oh, maybe we should soak this together, and then we soaked it together, like both being in front of the boss, and then it was like pretty easy with like just marginal cooldown commitment.
Then I
Let
thought
me-
it was
let me just
alpha
say
late, I
that-
wanted to solo, and then I died for the first one. But I could have soloed if I just popped one more cooldown. But we could have cheesed that
Yeah.
for sure.
Let me just say that if that lightning debuff from the tether interacted with that mechanic, it'll be far more exciting. So you actually found a cooler way of the boss potentially being designed, but no, unfortunately it doesn't work that way. But yeah, that tether has been around in a couple of tank busters before, and they've always been split tank busters, where it's just sheer damage between two. And there was a couple of times that other things happened, and I'm not sure if you saw it, so whether or not I should talk about it, I don't know. But the way that specific shared buster worked is interesting.
Oh, so it was that specific buster is not as black and white as just two people soak it. Is it something where one of the tanks taunts after one of the swings?
No, it's not. I think it's easy enough to say because like you literally have footage of it, and it's not gonna you're not gonna do that fight again. But
Okay.
it hits two people and only two people. So you've had times where you pointed that into the party and only two people died, even though like 6 people got hit.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I remember because I died and you put it
Yeah.
in and no one died.
Okay.
I was so confused actually. I remember that now. But
I
didn't
remember
think
that.
more
Yeah,
about
it hit like a bunch of people. Yeah, yeah. Is there any reason we didn't start with like level 50 shit, or is that
I
stuff
just
like
thought it
kind of
would feel-
outdated?
I thought it'd feel really bad, like getting to level 80 quickly, then going back and doing old fights, losing half your kit, doing. what
Yeah, I
is it,
don't like going back and losing
That
my
yeah,
abilities.
that definitely yeah. Actually, the way you just fully explained it. That makes sense. That sounds awful.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna do that sort of process where you go through all the old fights, you want to do it while you're leveling like slowly, so that you get to level 50 after learning the rotations up to level 50, and then you do the raids at level 50, and then you get to level 60, and you learn the level 60 rotation, and then you do the 60 raids. But getting to 80, going back and losing 40% of your buttons is just kind of ass.
And then the ultimates. So apparently there's 2 really good level 70 ultimates, right?
Yes, yeah. They hold up pretty well now. Sure, jobs lose a few buttons, and the balance is a little out of whack right now because of job changes and like power creep. But mechanically, they're exactly the same, right? Still exactly the same level of mechanical execution required. It's just that the DPS checks are much more lenient than they used to be. But they're first and foremost mechanic checks, right? They're heavily mechanically intensive fights, so you'll get the amount of challenge out of them that you'd want, for sure. Right, so what'd you say, same time tomorrow?
Yeah, same time tomorrow.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. You can definitely stream too. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it would be fun if you actually stream because I could go back and watch that later.
Yeah, I was about to say
Oh, yeah,
I
same.
would watch the fuck out of that. You reacting to it in real time.
All right, thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, see, man. Thanks. No, thank
you.
you
Yeah,
actually.
thank
You,
you.
I mean, you have made this like possible for us. This is fucking thank you, big time.